Hey, Victoria, this is Larry. It looks like we got a pretty good turnout. I think everybody missed you.
I missed every one of you for sure. But yeah, we've got a great turnout. We'll let Chairwoman Janes get ready and we should be definitely good to go with quorum.
Great.
Thanks, Larry.
Y'all are getting smaller and smaller as more people get on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Why does it want to aggravate me like that?
We are definitely good with quorum.
All right, good deal.
And I think we've got all the staff on. So
Okay.
I think we're good to get started.
Get started? All right. Good deal. All right. If we'll go ahead into order. I will. Dennis, he will lead us in. Did he hear?
Seems like there's an echo somewhere.
I'm hearing something too.
Yeah, so just make sure to everyone, please mute yourselves if you're not speaking so we don't pick up all the static. Thank you.
Did you say me, Valerie?
I did, Dennis. Thank you.
All right. Let's pray together, folks. Lord, we thank you for the day and all that you present to us each and every day. We're grateful for the opportunities we have to work together as concerned legislators in our local communities. Lord, thank you for that mission, the vision that you give us. Lord, we ask that you give us wisdom and discernment as we handle the affairs of these counties and our high country area. Help us to be mindful of all the needs and be respectful of all the things that are a part of our wonderful country, for the blessing we have of living in such a wonderful place. And Lord, we're thankful for all that you allow us to be a part of each and every day. We give you praise for it all. In Christ's name, amen.
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 Thank you. All right, now let's stand and do the pledge. Flag, please. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. First thing we'll do is ask for consideration of these December 20 minutes. Do we have a motion to approve those?
So moved, Madam Chair. Robert Johnson.
Second, Todd McNeil.
All righty. And unfortunately, I get to go through the whole little list. Okay. Dennis Aldridge,
Yes.
Jim Blevins. Is he here?
He is not.
And what about Rennie? Is he here?
He is.
Okay. Rennie?
He's muted.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Okay. Wes Brinegar,
Yes.
Rocky Buchanan,
Yes.
Teresa Coletta.
She is not here.
Okay. Larry Fontaine.
Here.
Oh, are you in favor of approving the minutes from December meeting? I'm sorry. Vern Graf.
He's not here.
Okay. And I will approve those. Gunther Yokel. I'm sure he's not here.
I think
Robert.
you skipped Tom.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
I forget. Okay. I'm sorry. I grabbed an old list because I didn't get a chance to print the one out that you had. Tom Hartman.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Robert Johnson.
Yes, ma'am, made the motion.
You did. Sorry. Thank you. Can you tell I haven't selected? Mark Johnston.
Not here.
Brenda Lyerly.
Yes.
Doug Johnson.
Yes.
And Todd seconded the motion. Kelly Malang.
Approve.
Thank you. Bill Osborne.
Yes.
Johnny Riddle.
Yes.
Paul Robinson.
He is not here. And we also have Kevin Reese.
Oh, thank you. I had him down here. Yes. Kevin Reese.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry I skipped you. I had me a little arrow here, but I forgot to mention you. Eddie Settle,
Yes.
Andy Suits,
Yes.
Larry Turnbow,
Not here.
Charles Vines.
I don't believe Charles is here either.
Okay. Joel Whitley,
Not here.
Eddie Arbor.
Not here.
Okay. So I think that was enough, wasn't it? And so that motion carries. Thank you guys very much. Next on the agenda is the report from the nominating committee, and I will call on Larry Fontaine for that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. After discussion with Charles Vine and Brenda Lyerly, we have the following nominations, and we appreciate the people that we've contacted who wish to serve again on the committees. And basically, the committee will be the same as it was in 2020. We realize that with having to do this virtually, it's probably a lot easier, and due to the willingness and graciousness of these people, they're willing to serve for another one-year term. I'll mention their names and their positions for the formality. And of course, if anyone else cares to nominate someone after that, feel free. For chair, again, Valerie James, vice chair, Todd McNeil, secretary, Doug Matheson, and treasurer, Dennis Aldridge. Those are my nominations, the nominations from the committee.
I move that we accept the slate as presented.
I second.
Was that Kelly?
Yes, Malang seconds.
Oh, Valerie, you're muted.
I saw my little note there. Do I need to do this or does Larry need to, or I guess do? I like, okay.
You probably have the list in front of you, Valerie. It'd be easier for you.
Okay, Dennis,
Well, 3 out of 4, but I'll go ahead and say
we
aye.
vote Elves. Okay, Jim Blevins. Is he here? Jim?
He's not here.
Okay, that's all right. And you said Rennie is here. Rennie.
Yes.
Okay. Wes Brinegar,
Yes.
Rocky Buchanan.
Yes.
Okay, Teresa's not here, right? Larry Fontaine.
Yes.
You made well. Tom Hartman.
Yes.
Robert Johnson.
Yes.
And Brenda made the motion. Doug, Doug, you're in there, but you want to vote for 3 of us?
I'll vote for the other 3.
Okay. Todd, for 3. Todd, did you hear me?
Yes.
You vote for the, okay. Bill Osborne,
Yes.
Kevin Reese,
Yes.
Johnny Riddle.
Yes.
Let's see. Eddie Settle, is he here?
Yes.
Okay. Andy Suits,
Yes.
Larry Turnbow. Oh, he's not here, is he? And Charles is not here, Joel and Eddie. Okay. I think that got everybody. Well, thank you guys. We appreciate your, I guess you could say, confidence in us or something like that. But we appreciate it. We will continue to serve you in a good way. So that, I guess, motion carries. So I guess you're stuck with it for another year. Thank you. All right. Next is recognition of incoming new incoming members, which I'm going to try to do the best I can with this. I started to say I cannot see. Let's see. Let me.
You're muted again, Chairwoman James.
I'm like, duh.
Sorry.
I was trying to see if I could find them. So I can see who I'm looking. Aha, there's Kevin. Okay, since Kevin, I'll do him first. All right. Kevin is from the town, let's see. He's from Rhonda, North Carolina. He was elected to the Board of Commissioners in 2020. He was born and raised in Wilkes County. He enjoys the outdoors and owns a garage business in Wilkes County. He has 2 children. His son, I would say a son. Son Chandler attends Wake Forest Law School, and daughter Macy attends a private school. So we welcome you to the executive committee or executive board at the High Country Council of Governments. Look forward to having you serve with us. So welcome. Glad to have you with us there at your first meeting. So it's good to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
You are very welcome. And he is replacing Sandra Simmons that used to sit on the board with us. And then next up, let me see if I can find him. Well, there he is. Okay, Mr. Eddie Settle, and he is from Wilkes County, and he is replacing Gary Blevins, who decided not to run again or whatever. So we are pleased to have him, and he has served on the Wilkes County Board of Commissioners since 2012, and he has served as vice chairman for 3 terms. He's now serving his 4th term as chairman. He also serves on over 10 other committees and boards in Wilkes County, the region, and the state. His wife Sheila and he have 2 children, Melissa and Matt. So we are very honored and pleased to have you on the board, and hope you will enjoy your time with the executive committee of High Country Council of Governments. So welcome to your meeting.
Chairwoman James, thank you for the good introduction. Greetings from the great state of Wilkes. We've got big shoes to fill here, and Commissioner Gary Blevins, I know he served on that board for for a long time and honorably. And it's just a big shoes to fill, but we'll do the best we can. Thank you for having us.
Well, you're very welcome. And we've heard good things about you. So yes, you've got big shoes to fill.
For a fact. That
But
is
we're
true.
very, both of you gentlemen with us. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Next we have financial matters with our little Julie Page.
Oh, Julie, you're muted.
Okay. Hello, everybody. And if you have any questions, just let me know. But I have updated everything now since we do have our audit completed. We were fortunate enough this year that we didn't have any findings. And then Alan Thompson with TPSA is going to go over the audit presentation after I finish these highlights. But I've updated 2020 so you can see that our total fund balance is $1,392,000. Part of that is restricted, $112,360. Our assigned fund balance is $84,579, which leaves the unassigned fund balance at $1,196,308. And you'll notice on the graph that Alan sent that literally for the unassigned fund balance, this is the highest year that we've had. I know our target is always 16%, but this year we were actually higher than the last 4 years. So then for this year, the total expenditures year to date are $2,697,465. And basically, because our budget has gone up so much this year, we are projecting that we may have a unassigned fund balance that may drop below that 16%. Right now, it's showing 15.29%, but we won't know that for sure until we actually go through the audit at the end of the year. And if it is such, then we did put a resolution in place where Julie and I will work on a corrective action plan to get us back to that 16%. Our total revenue, you can see, is $2,633,308. Our total expenditures, as I stated earlier, are $2,697,465. And it just means that we're a little bit under the revenues. Most of the aging revenue is always like a month behind. So sometimes that's why you see a variance in the revenue being under the expenditures. Then the cash balance, you'll notice the operating account is showing a negative, but that's just the general ledger. It's not that we had a negative balance in our bank account, no fines, no fees, but we were waiting on funds to come in, and we had written large checks on the last day of the 31st. So that's why the general ledger is showing that balance. But I manage that account every day. And if we ever need to draw money down or move money to Capital Management Trust, I do that on a daily basis. And right now, the Capital Management Trust account is $1,392,017. So our total cash balance right now is $1,354,009. And then the things that we did at the end of the year, of course, you guys are very familiar with. We have completed the audit. We'll go through that presentation here in just a few minutes with Alan. We appreciate him being on here tonight. And then I've got our W-2s completed, the 1099s completed. And then a next big project that we're rolling out with the COG employees is we're moving from our old timesheet system and integrating it with where we do our payroll, which is iSolve. iSolve's been a fabulous new application for us to use to process our payroll. And we decided that we want to integrate our timesheet so that we don't have to import it, and it's not different. It's not in a different system. So that's what we're working on, and our target is for March. So that's really all the information that I have. The other thing, we will be presenting the audit to you guys next month for you to approve so that we stay with TPSA for our audit for the fiscal year end of 2021. So we will basically get that out to you guys so that you can approve it in the board meeting in March. So if anybody has any questions, please let me know. And thank you guys so much.
Okay, do we need, do we need an approval for the financial report tonight?
Yes.
Okay. Just some,
And I'll make that motion that we approve the financial report as presented.
Dennis,
This is Robert. I second it.
Johnny made the motion and who seconded?
Robert.
I did.
Robert, okay. All righty, and we'll go through the list right quick, I guess. Dennis Aldridge,
yes.
Jim Blevins. He's not here, is he? Rennie,
Yes.
Wes,
Yes.
Rocky,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Robert Johnson,
Yes.
okay.
I think we
Brenda.
missed Brenda.
Did you say me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Yes.
okay, Bill,
Oh, yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Eddie,
Yes.
Larry Turnbow, he's not here. The guys are not here. So, okay.
Kevin. We've
Oh,
got
yeah,
Kevin.
I forgot him. Kevin.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, guys. So that was, I think, everyone, I hope. So motion carries. The financial matters were approved. So our next presentation is the High Country Council of Governments presentation by Alan Thompson with TPSA CPAs. So turn it over to you, sir.
Hey, well, good evening to everyone. Hope everybody can hear me okay. In your presentation summary there, if you'd be kind enough to scroll down to page 1, that would be awesome. Just to kind of remind everyone, the main reason you do hire us as an audit firm is to issue an opinion on the financial statements as a whole. As previously mentioned, there were no findings in our audit report. We did issue an unmodified report, which is a quote unquote clean report. And I'm going to flip through these things real quick. For the most part, because of that, there were no significant audit findings here on page 1 and on page 2. There were no difficulties encountered in performing the audit, no uncorrected misstatements, no disagreements with management. Management did sign a representation letter dated December 15th. We're unaware that management consulted with any outside accountants, auditors, etc. And again, there were no other findings or issues. And as you are well aware, one of the big issues we do when we're auditing a COG is we're looking for compliance with the programs there. And so we did not have any problems with compliance in the programs. And so that's an awesome step. That speaks well to your finance staff, your program directors, and to management, as well as to yourselves. So congratulations all around for that. On page 4, if you would be kind enough to scroll there for me. One of the first things there is total fund balance. What we attempt to do here, and I'm not saying that we're getting them all, but we try to pull out some of the numbers you may have interest in, etc., and then put the 4 previous years audit report numbers beside it so it has some context to it, and you can see any trends that might be occurring. So you see total fund balance there at $1,392,247, restricted fund balance at 112, and assigned at 84,579. And unassigned at $1,195,308. Total expenditures at $5,392,000. And then your total fund balance as a percentage at 25.82. And unassigned fund balance as a percentage at 22.17. Revenues over and under expenses before transfers at positive in the general fund of 15,841. In special revenue funds, it had a negative 28,569. Cash in your general fund there was $1,285,256. Again, fund balance just in the general fund is $1,307,000. Special revenue funds fund balance at $84,579. a breakdown of general fund revenues, 176,000, the general fund expenditures, 160,000. And then total revenue at 5.379 million, and total expenditures at 5,392,000. And then flipping over to page 5, you can see on that chart that your fund balance has stayed stable across the board. Your restricted and assigned fund balance has stayed fairly stable. It's slightly down from the prior 2 years. And then on the bottom of that page, you see the analysis of unassigned fund balance as a percentage at 22.17%, but it's been pretty stable. The way the chart's presented, it looks like there's a lot more variation from year to year, but you can see from the numbers, there's not a lot of variation year over year, and it looks good for this year being the highest it's been. If you'd be kind enough to flip to page 6, you see revenues over and under expenses before transfers there. And then on the bottom of that page, you see total cash balances in a pie chart and fund balances in a pie chart with the respective numbers right underneath that. Total cash of $1,285,000 and total fund balances of $1,392,247. And then the last page shows your total revenues by specific general fund, federal funds, state funds, and local funds, with not a lot of variation from the prior year there. And total expenditures right underneath that chart. And not a lot of variation there either. Again, I think we do 5 COGs around the state. I think there's 16 in total. The big issue here is compliance, and you were in compliance with the requirements for the funds that you received. The other big issue is you received an unmodified report, which is a quote unquote clean report. So I commend everyone on that. I'm not happy to answer questions, but I'm also happy to answer questions any other time that you may have. My numbers on the audit report or presentation summary, either one. If you call my office and I'm not in, tell them to give you my cell number and I'll get you an answer. And I'm very grateful that you allowed us to do the audit, and I look forward to working with you in the future. And again, thank you.
Thank you for that report, Mr. Thompson. We appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Does anyone have questions or anything? If not, our next report will come from our Workforce Development Board updates with Keith Devereaux.
Good evening, everyone. As always, it's a pleasure for me to appear before you and update you on workforce development, the High Country Workforce Development Board. I want to start off with the unemployment rates as of October 20th. In the High Country region, our current unemployment rate is 4.9%. Previously, it was 5.3%. Currently, the unemployment rate for North Carolina is 6.1%. Previously, it was 6.9%. In the United States, currently the unemployment rate is 6.6%. Previously, it was 7.7%. In our area, starting off with Avery County, their current unemployment rate was 4.6%. Previously, last month, they were at 5.1%. Mitchell County's current unemployment rate is 6.4%. Last month, it was 6.7%. Yancey County has a current unemployment rate of 5.3%. Last month, it was 5.7%. Currently, Ashe County has an unemployment rate of 4.7%. Last month, it was 5.1%. Allegheny County currently has an unemployment rate of 5.5%. Previously, last month, it was 6.2%. Watauga County currently has an unemployment rate of 4.1%, and last month, it was 4.6%. Wilkes County currently has an unemployment rate of 5.3%, and last month, it was 5.8%. I would like to introduce to you Caroline Briggs. She is the new Financial and Compliance Specialist for the High Country Workforce Development Board and the High Country Council of Governments. She is replacing Linda Green, who left us to take another position. We wish her well, and we are truly excited to have Caroline Briggs joining our team. She has vast experience and knowledge. She is local there in Boone, resides there with her family. We were fortunate enough that she wanted to make the change and leave the business sector to come over to the local government and sector. She was the former controller for Chatola Resorts. So she has managed a lot of software changes and a lot of financial records and data and books. So we are really fortunate to have her. She is going to be a great asset to the Workforce Development Board as well as the COG. So she's going to be joining a stellar financial minds of Julie Page and Kathy Combs, and she is going to do and achieve great things for us. At this time, Caroline, would you please address the board and tell them whatever else you would like to know.
Hi, everybody. I'm very excited to be here. I've been very warmly welcomed by everybody that I've encountered, and I'm excited to really get my feet dug in and just, I guess, again, like Keith said, switch over from the public sector over to contributing to the local economy as much as I can and the local community. If you have any questions for me, feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to answer anything y'all might need. And that's about it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Caroline. Also, I would like to inform the board that Governor Cooper has appointed Michelle Sanders as the new secretary for the North Carolina Department of Commerce. She was previously the Secretary of Administration for North Carolina. Governor Cooper in the press release says that her former experience in dealing with contracts and stuff for the state. Prior to that, she was a pharmaceutical VP. So she is going to be the new secretary for the North Carolina Department of Commerce. Also today, I just learned that Jessica Inglet, who is the current assistant secretary for the Division of Workforce Solutions, that she has resigned and she will be going back into Governor Cooper's administration as a policy director and analyst. So we will be getting a new assistant secretary for the Division of Workforce Solutions. And in that same press release, they noted that there could be other changes coming to Commerce and the Division of Workforce Solutions, which I will keep you guys abreast of. So there are changes abroad and on the horizon in Commerce and the Division of Workforce Solutions. Also, if you will, in your packet, I included the labor market overview that you will be interested in, as well as the insurance unemployment claims that were filed for December 2020. I will not go into that. You can read those at your leisure, but wanted to provide that information so you can see how unemployment claims were going in each of your counties. And at that point, Madam Chairman, that concludes my High Country Workforce Development Board update. At this point in time, I will address and take any questions that you all may have.
Okay, does anyone have any for Keith?
Well, if not, thank you, and I will see you guys next month.
Thank you, Keith. This is Robert. Good job.
Thank you, Robert.
All righty. Next up is Area Agency on Aging with Nicole. I always pronounce your name wrong, I think. Is it Hegel?
No, no worries at all. Nicole Hegel.
Hegel. Okay. All right, dear. It's your turn.
Very good. Thank you so much. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for having me. And for those of you who are new to the board, you may or may not know much about the Area Agency on Aging, but I just want to offer, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at any time. I'm more than happy to chat with you and kind of bring you up to speed with how we work with older adults in our 7 counties to help them stay healthy and hopefully in their home as long as possible. I wanted to just touch on a few items tonight with you. The first is the COVID-19 vaccine. And you all probably are experts at this by now, I'm sure. But I wanted to just share a couple of updates from the aging perspective. Of course, older adults have the highest risk of having long-term impacts or death from COVID-19. So we're very concerned with that population. And our aging network has been kind of challenged or tasked to really try our best to make sure that we are helping to break down any potential barriers to older adults accessing the vaccine. So we're working with our providers and we're working with the state to make sure that we can help be a resource, a connector, help make sure that we're answering questions and helping those older adults figure out how to access their vaccine, how to make reservations, and of course, connect them to transportation if needed. You know, we've done a pretty good job, I think, of these initial waves of vaccines here in our counties. I know a lot of older adults have already accessed the vaccine. We're still a bit concerned about some of the more rural adults, those who are more homebound. So, you know, we're still working on that. And of course, our supply of the vaccine is quite limited. So though there's lots of resources to help them find that vaccine and access, we're still dealing with those supply issues. And hopefully that will become less of an issue as we move forward. I've heard a lot of great feedback actually from each of the counties. I know a lot of our senior Tar Heel legislatures, representatives have accessed the vaccine throughout the counties, and they've said wonderful things about the health departments and how well all of the vaccine clinics have been rolled out. So really kudos to all the regional and county health departments for that. And of course, we're now starting to see more providers have vaccines and be able to provide them. We're starting to see hospitals as well as some of the primary care community health centers. So again, trying to slowly work through breaking down these barriers. If you have concerns or if you have questions, feel free to reach out. And we also, again, are trying to work closely with our area senior centers to make sure that they are also available resources and of course, transportation agencies. Any questions about the vaccine before I move on? Okay, super.
If I may, just for a second, here in Avery County, where we have provided vaccine for most of the southeastern United States, I think, or it seems that way, we have had our paramedicine person that we have with EMS going out to give 8 to 10 vaccines a day for homebound seniors. And that has worked out remarkably well. And we're grateful to have that capacity and the program to do that. And also in the last mandate that was sent out from the governor's office, there was also some funding in there for transportation that was paid directly to the county. So I hope everyone's aware of that there is a funding source for some of the transportation for people who may not be able to arrange it or get there on their own. So I want to be sure everybody's aware of that.
Yes, thank you. And on the DHHS COVID-19 website, there is a link for transportation that would take you to all of the county transportation agencies. So thank you for sharing that. And then on top of that, if that wasn't enough resource, we do have more aging transportation funds that could be used in conjunction if needed. Excellent. Okay, so the next piece I just wanted to update folks on was our budgets. You know, a typical year, we would mostly just be dealing with our home and community care block grant funding. This year, of course, because of COVID-19, we have received extra funding. So we received Families First as well as CARES funding. Both of those COVID-19 related funds do have through September to be spent. However, it's been a bit of a challenge, a bit of a dance really to kind of figure out how to prioritize which budgets, because there is a lot of overlap with CARES and home and community care block grants. So we've been working with the state and working with providers to help make sure we're prioritizing spending as well as increasing our reach as much as possible. So that's been, as you can guess, ever evolving. Right now, we're really trying to push providers hard to really focus on families first and care spending. That may have us end up with some block grant funds unspent, but that is okay because we have actually at a state level 3 years to spend those funds. It's not necessarily ideal, but it's okay because CARES will go away in September, whereas block grant would then be kind of put back and redistributed as needed. We also, I don't know the details of this yet, but my understanding, I just learned about this in the past few weeks, there is another nutrition-based funding source that was just approved at the federal level. Again, that's a COVID response, and that it will be specifically for nutrition programs. I anticipate it being somewhere around a similar amount that we received for Families First, which was $207,000 for the region. So my understanding is it will probably be around that range, and hopefully by next month I'll have a little bit more to share. Again, I don't know when we're receiving this, but my understanding is that we would have through September of 2022 to spend it. So it's possible we may defer that revenue until next fiscal year, depending on where everyone is with their current budgets. And then the last piece I wanted to update you on or just kind of touch on is Stevie John, our long-term care ombudsman, typically does her annual report in February. She was on vacation this weekend, so she's going to be doing that report next week. But, I just want to kind of, again, shine a little bit of light to long-term care facilities and her roles in ombudsman. COVID has had a tremendous impact on people living in long-term care. Many of the clusters have been in those facilities and unfortunately have been a cause of a lot of deaths. But it's also been the cause of a lot of isolation. Unfortunately, a lot of neglect. With COVID, they've really just shut down visitation for safety reasons, but unfortunately that also kind of limits the ability for families and caregivers to come and give compassionate care, to be extra eyes and ears on their family member, and for regulators to come in and do their job. So sadly, COVID has had just a tremendous impact on long-term care facilities. And you'll hear maybe some of that in Stevie's report. You may see that cases have gone down from previous years. And again, mostly it's because the lack of visitation, I think the lack of knowing that they can and should report. But Stevie's been, of course, staying on top of all of the reports and all of the concerns she's been hearing. She's done a wonderful job of working through those complaints from a distance. Really, we can't visit until the facility is case-free, and the cases are coming down. So we're hoping visitation will start opening back up. But I just wanted to kind of touch on that because it is such an important topic that sometimes gets a little bit overlooked. So is there any questions you all may have?
Yes, I have one. This is Eddie Settle. Did I understand you correctly that there were funding for transportation in the CARES Act? Is this new? Thank you.
So I believe it's somewhat new for the county transportation agencies. All of them received COVID-related funds, and I'm not sure if it's from the CARES Act or not, but it is specifically to help provide transportation to access the vaccine.
Okay, so we have a COVID task force in Wilkes, and that question arose today, and we didn't have an answer. So thank you for the insight, and we'll be sure to look at that tomorrow.
Absolutely.
We just found that out last week. There was whenever the new release of groupings came out, that was told to us at that point that there'd be money for the vaccine transportation, and that was new to us just last week. So first we had heard about that.
Quick question from Mulang. Is there any type of priority on this transportation? Is there an age requirement, or is it just open to anyone?
Kelly, as far as my understanding, it's open based on the groupings of the vaccine as they're released. So at this point, it would be for those who fall under those parameters. And as the parameters are expanded, then they would be eligible for the transportation.
That's my understanding as well. And I'm going to try to see if I can find maybe a link or two online. I'll put that in the chat box. Might help answer some questions as well.
Thanks, Nicole. I was looking for that too. I think it was in the bulletin last week as well, in our weekly bulletin, but both of us can look for the link.
All right, sounds good. Well, if there's no other questions, Madam Chair, I am done. Thank you.
Okay, Nicole, thank you, honey, very much. Good, very informative report. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, next we'll turn it over to Phil True for the recess of the High Country Council of Governments Executive Board session and convening of Region D Development Corporation session.
Thank you all. I'm afraid it takes, Jeff, I rely on you, but I think it takes action to officially recess.
Yeah, I would think somebody needs to move to recess this meeting and convene the new one, the other one.
So
Okay.
moved, Madam Chair. This is Robert.
Robert, okay. Do we have a second?
Lang, seconds.
Okay. Do I have to go through the list, I guess?
I'm sorry,
I think
but
So,
yes.
yeah.
It's three times total for this whole thing. So everyone hang on.
Wait. Now I can find what I did with my list. Had it here. Yeah, let's do it. There it is. Keep moving it. I need to not do that. Oh, okay. Dennis Aldridge.
Yes.
Rennie Brandt.
Yes.
Wes Brinegar.
Yes.
Ross Buchanan.
Yes.
Larry Fontaine. Larry, you still with?
Sorry, yeah.
Okay. Tom Hartman
Yes.
and of course me. And Robert made the motion. Brenda Lyerly,
Yes.
Doug Matheson,
Yes.
Todd McNeil,
Yes.
Bill Osborne,
Yes. Yes.
Kevin Reese,
Yes.
Johnny Riddle,
Yes.
Eddie Settle,
Yes.
Andy Suits.
Yes.
That's it, I believe it. I think that gets everybody that's here. Okay, so moving forward, that motion carries and we're ready to go with the consideration of minutes. Take over, Phil, for a few minutes, maybe.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
For the new members here tonight, and just kind of as a refresher for others, Development Corporation was established in 1983 as a nonprofit arm of Region D Council of Governments. In the past, we've used the Development Corporation to deliver incentives to private industry in the region and to deliver small business loans throughout the region. Since 2015, we haven't done either one of those activities. Since that time, we have invested $40,000 of our Development Corporation funds into Mountain BizWorks small business lending portfolio. And we're just kind of idling with the Development Corporation to keep it active so that we can use it for other purposes as needed in the future. February 17th, 2020 minutes are in your agenda packet for consideration.
Move to
Bill,
approve, Larry
Bill,
Fontaine.
before you move on to that, let me suggest that maybe you could do both this motion and the adjournment and reconvening of the other meeting motion altogether. Unless you've got something that needs to be covered between those things, Phil.
No, I was just going to give a very brief update, but I appreciate that efficiency. So why don't we do that? I'll just make a few more comments and then we can, as Jeff suggested, act on both issues at the same point. Approval of the February 17th, 2020 minutes and the adjournment of the Development Corporation, reconvening of the COG.
Move to approve, Larry Fontaine.
I'll second Robert
Second.
Johnson.
And just to be clear, that it's the approval and suggestion to close the RDDC meeting. Is that right, Larry? Your motion?
That's correct, Julie.
So during the discussion part, can Phil go ahead and say the things he wanted to say before we vote on this?
Sure.
Sure, I'll be brief. I just wanted to let everybody know the Development Corporation's got a board of directors. Current board of directors consists of Bill Osborne in Allegheny, Jim Blevins in Ash, Kelly Malang in Avery, Vern Grindstaff in Mitchell, Larry Fontaine in Watauga, Andy Suits in Wilkes, and Teresa Coletta in Yancey. Financial report as of January of 2021, we had $17,977 in the bank. Our investment with the Mountain BizWorks portfolio, they are dictated that they use our funds solely in the 7 high country counties. Since we've made that investment, they've done about 30 small business loans with a portfolio just in the high country of approximately $1.3 million. So our investment with them nets us $1,200 per year in interest. So that's all I had.
Thank you, Phil.
Valerie, you're muted.
Okay. All right. So we had Larry and Robert make motions to close the Region D development and open executive board back up. But we also need motions about the consideration of the minutes. Is that right, Jeff?
I think that
was included.
motion.
Did they want to include that in there? And then I'll list.
I think that's what he said do, Madam Chair.
And I think Larry clarified that was his motion, yes.
Okay, so that's what we're doing. He was doing both, right? He's gonna go
That's
his
it.
minutes and okay. Okay. All right. Wanted to make sure. Now I need to go through the list. So, all right, here Dennis Aldridge,
Yes.
Renee Brandt,
Yes.
Wes Brinegar,
Yes.
Rocky Buchanan,
Yes.
Larry Fontaine,
Yes.
and I'm sorry, you made
Yes.
that decision. I didn't need that. I'm sorry. Tom Hartman,
Yes.
Brenda Lyerly,
Yes.
Doug Hammond,
Yes.
Todd McNeil,
Yes.
Kelly Malang,
Agreed.
Bill Osborne,
Yes.
Kevin Reed,
Yes.
Johnny Riddle,
Yes.
Eddie Settle,
Yes.
Andy Suits.
Yes.
Okay, I think that got everybody, I hope. So that all motion carries on all of that. So Phil, were you finished or did you have some other updates you were going to give us?
I was finished. I'm glad to answer any questions anyone may have. If not, thanks. I appreciate the time and the attention.
Okay, thank you, Phil. We appreciate you. Thanks a bunch. All right, next up is the report from Advisory Committee and Executive Director Julie Wiggins.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Good to see you all. Wanted just to start by echoing the welcome to our new board members. And then also just kind of echoing Alan's comments on the hard work of the team on a clean audit. You know, a lot of work goes into that, and from all levels. Is the finance obviously takes the lead and has a lion's share, and the departments have a big role in that too. So just wanted to express my gratitude. We have talked in previous meetings about a second annual legislative day. We've narrowed it down to 2 Mondays at the end of March, and we're still kind of getting some responses back from an inquiry that Victoria sent to our state legislative aides to see if our representatives and senators in the region would likely be able to do those days. So I will go ahead and say to save a couple of dates, but really, really soon we'll go ahead and just confirm a date with you all. Monday, March 22nd and Monday, March 29th. We're anticipating another 10 to 12 time frame like we had last year. We're anticipating it will be in a virtual format this year. And there's been a legislative subcommittee established by Chairwoman James, and the committee will be tasked with finalizing the agenda and then coming up with questions and issues of regional importance that we can either share or ask our state legislators or our federal legislators as well. So that committee will meet, sometime obviously in between now and the legislative day, but the goal will probably be the first couple of weeks of March. And then that gives time for them to come up with a plan, and then we can talk about it at the March executive board meeting before we move into the actual legislative day. So that being said, if you have not been appointed to that committee, but you've got some issues that are important to your jurisdiction, you can send those directly to me, Victoria, Chairwoman James, whomever. But I guess I'll volunteer to sort of be the point person on receiving those questions and the input if you want to go ahead and share that in advance. So unless there's any questions about that, let's see, what else? The annual report is in your packet, and I don't want to spend a ton of time going over all those numbers, but encourage you all to look at it. I mean, you have heard from all the departments tonight, so you see and hear about the good work, but the annual report is just a great snapshot of that has numbers that kind of can give the quantitative analysis of the impact that the organization has on the region. One of the numbers that I will point out, though, is the $67.24 return on investment for every dollar invested. So that's the $67.24 is calculated based on our internal budget, our revenues, and then also the money leveraged outside of the organization by the planning department. And that number for fiscal year 20, I believe, was $2,995,000 leveraged in grants from applications submitted by the planning department. So as you can see, as Victoria is scrolling through here on page 2, it's just a great summary of the different types of programs that we're involved in. It gives, monetary value of some of the programs. It gives people that are impacted, the, type of work. So I'm looking over at planning and development, the type of areas that our staff members are engaged in. And so you're looking at our senior centers and our aging providers to all sorts of different things in our planning department. And then we've got our business sector that's represented in our workforce development. So I said I wouldn't talk too much about that, so I'll stop myself. But I encourage you to look it over. If you have any questions, please let us know. Really, I guess the last thing, well, a couple things actually. I'll start with the advisory committee has started to preliminarily discuss our fiscal year 2022. It's February. I think everybody's starting to dive into budget season. As discussed last year, right at a year ago, the plan that was discussed, of course, it was a different world back then, but the plan that was discussed was a 3-year phased-in increase in what we call our membership dues, and that I've sort of, in my own way, kind of tried to rebrand as our matching dollars. And as we talked about a year ago, the dues that y'all pay exclusively go to leverage our federal grants, and those grants are that require a match, a local match, are primarily in the planning department and also in the aging department. So that's a little bit just kind of a recap of our year conversation, our year ago conversation. And what I illustrated with the graphs that I showed was that, you know, particularly with some of the matching requirement increases, that, you know, in looking ahead out a few years, that we were going to be increasingly short on what we had available to match those federal grants, and to ensure that we don't jeopardize those federal grants. So the advisory committee has preliminarily supported with moving forward with the phase 2. We had 100% participation here in this first phase. So they also recommended that I bring that before you all, the full board, to go ahead and see, you know, are there questions, concerns? Do you all want to, you know, have any discussion on this tonight? Or, you know, obviously feel free to contact me, and the conversation will continue as we move through budget season, but just wanted to make sure that we went ahead and addressed it in the full board as early as possible. Any preliminary thoughts or questions? Okay. All right. Well, hearing none, I guess really the last update that I have is that the charter updates that you all recommended have been sent out, as you all know, to the member governments, and those are continuing to be approved, and we're receiving them. And, you know, as we get questions about it, we're answering those. So we're in, you know, really kind of the home stretch to get our minimum 2/3 requirement. Of course, I think we all would agree, would want 100%, you know, participation in that. So if there are any concerns or questions that get brought up, especially with sort of the backstory as to how this came about, you know, let me know. I'd be happy to do any presentations or come down for any meetings or anything like that. And that concludes my report, unless anybody has any questions for me.
And we just did approve that. So that was part of our last town council package.
Great, thanks.
Does anybody have any questions for Julie? Thank you, Julie. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do we have any board member comments?
Madam Chairman, this is Johnny Riddle. I just wanted to thank Julie Page and Julie Wiggins and Kathy, and really the whole staff for our audit report, for the work that they did in getting all that together and helping them. It's good to get a nice clean report. And we haven't had one in a couple of years, seems like. There's been some issues, and so it's nice to get a clean report and no findings. So thank you all.
Yes, I agree. Very, very wholeheartedly. That's awesome.
Madam Chair, this is Robert. I would say kudos to that, along with Johnny. I appreciate all the hard work that the staff has done and everybody that's been a part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? I just want to say it's good to be back together with you guys. This way, I'm ready for some sunshine and warm weather. I am ready for that for sure. That's pretty much about all I can think to say. Or is there any other business we need to tend to?
Motion to adjourn, Madam Chairman.
Do what?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Had any public comment? A few more things.
What?
Slow your roll, Johnny.
He just trying to jump in front of me, that's all.
He is.
I'm down to 8% on my thing, so if I go blank, it's not me, it's this machine, so.
Uh-oh. What you got, Victoria?
We do not have public comments. And then
Okay.
Julie or Todd, I think they wanted to welcome someone to the advisory committee.
Oh, okay.
Julie, go ahead.
All right, thanks, Todd. Chairwoman James, you know me, I get excited, so I picked up the phone and called Wills County Chairman Eddie Settle, and he's very excited at the invitation to join the High Country COG's advisory committee. So I wasn't sure if I was jumping the gun, but anyway, I have no patience, so I was excitedly calling him. He's excited to join, and Eddie, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Julie. We certainly are excited and glad to be a part of the advisory committee. Thank you so much.
Well, we look forward to having you. Okay. So anything else? Go for it, Johnny.
Ms. Chairwoman, this is Kevin Reese.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to say I'm honored to be part of this board. There's some friendly faces I know. Eddie Settle, Mr. Robert Johnson, Mr. Suits. And I look forward to getting to know all of you guys and being part of this. Thank you very much.
Well, you're very welcome. We hope hopefully you'll get to see us in person sometime soon. But it's
Glad to
very
have you.
with us too.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good to be.
All righty. Are you going for it, Johnny?
You
I
already
am.
did.
Motion to adjourn.
You did?
Second.
I was gonna let you do it again if you wanted to. All right, John. Great week, or have a great rest of your week. And again, I guess we'll see you next time, hopefully. In person, but
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Good night. Bye.
Good night.